Very often when cities get planned in the same way as when buildings get planned, people jump straight to design and don't ask questions about what people want to do. It's often the case because it's quite often hard questions to ask, because you're asking people about what they want to be doing at some point in the future. You're asking people to imagine things being different and how they want them to be different, and all sorts of stuff like that, rather than simply giving them a picture of this, that, and options A, B, and C to decide they like, and then they simply tick it. So it's much more subtle. The questions are harder to ask and sometimes harder to answer as well. So you need better structures, better techniques, better ways of asking those questions and giving people a chance to give their views.
I think one of the reasons why I started talking about brief was an experience from you being an architect.
Yeah, this was the way. It came out of a lifetime as an architect, but particularly cases where the one which I always talk about, of a client who unprompted produced a day in his life for me, which was how he would, when the house that I was then going to design for him, how he would come home, how he would use the house when he arrived home, and he basically gave me an evening in his house until he turned the light out, which was brilliant because it showed me what he wanted to do in the house and gave me far more information than most people would usually give about, as a starting point for me to then design a building around. The more information you have to design around, the easier it generally is to design. But people often kind of assume that you don't want people chipping in too much information. It just makes life complicated, doesn't it? But buildings and spaces and cities are complex things. You need the information.
So I guess we're asking people to say what would they want to do in this Castle Gateway area.
Yeah, it's about asking people in all sorts of different ways. Because if you simply go up to somebody in the street and say, what do you want to do in here in 10 years' time, then you'll get blank faces. But it's trying to find ways of enabling people to vocalise that stuff and to visualise it, being able to see the structure of what's there, see how it might be different, and then start to see how they might do things there at some point in the future. So that they're not redesigning the area, but they're kind of giving those who do get involved in the design of the area a starting point which is well informed and which is rich and which has layers to it, which then gives them a starting point to design.